All right. Testing, testing, testing. Well, let me know if you can hear me. Sounds good. All right. All right, guys. Welcome to CanHammer. Your stop for 40K and Space Marines from the Great White North. We are here live tonight on CanHammer TV. So when I made the schedule for this week, I was like, yeah, Thursday, I'll talk about CCBB and, I can usually fill an hour of talking. And then, boom, Space Marines. Now we got something to talk about. So that's cool. So we got some Space Marine stuff to talk about, and that's going to be very exciting. I have maybe 16,000 points of Space Marines, if you count like my Thunderhawk and Mastodon and all that stuff. Used to be 12,000, then it was 16,000 after like the Forge World price hikes. So I have a lot of Space Marines. They're all Dark Angels, of course, painted Dark Angels, but can be played as any Space Marines. So I'm pretty excited for this, and not only for Dark Angels, but also just I'll admit it, I swore to myself I would never paint power armor again, but I'm actually, depending on what this book looks like, thinking of starting a completely different Space Marine chapter. And based purely on the color I want to paint, not on any particular chapter. I don't really care. I'm not the kind that have to have like yellow Imperial Fists or blue Ultramarines. But just based on what I want to kind of try painting, I want to paint Imperial Fists. I think a really smart-looking yellow Imperial Fist army looks pretty sick, and so that would be sweet. So I'm thinking, after painting so much Marines, of doing it again. But now I have an airbrush, and I have contrast paints, so I think it wouldn't be too bad. Lord Draconis, welcome. You do plan on doing every book that comes out? Okay. That's pretty good. You're Shorty, welcome. Kusei Rock, welcome. Budtastic Guy, everybody, welcome. And Manidao, of course, welcome. So that's kind of how exciting this is, that I'm actually thinking of painting Marines for the sake of painting Marines, which I never thought that I would do. I also promised myself I was never going to paint any more gold after painting 18 bikes, and lo and behold, there's like 10,000 points of Custodians over there, and still painting my Orion, so there you go. So much for promises to oneself. Lord Draconis, I got the Scars and Ultra Books pre-order. Yes, I am getting those next week, courtesy of Dan, so I should have that ready to go, and we'll definitely do an episode on it. But Tastic Guy, started my first 40k army of the summer, Primaris Dark Angels. Yes, great. Welcome to the Dark Angels. Your Shorty, Incursors and Infiltrators are phasing out my scouts in my list, 100%. Yeah, I think the whole point is that nobody is going to want to play Dinky Marines anymore. There will be literally no reason to play them, because I think Primaris are priced just right to mean, especially if they have more shit, and now they have a transport that's not a repulsor. I think there's no reason to play the little guys anymore, unless you're Grey Knights and maybe Death Watch, depending on if this works well for Death Watch too. So we'll see. But yeah, so, and I think that's the point, right? Like, they don't want to say you can't use your small Marines anymore, but they're kind of saying like you probably shouldn't use your small Marines anymore, which is a shame, because I actually have all my Marines are small Marines. I have very few Primaris Marines other than Aggressors and Inceptors. So we'll see. That's why I kind of want to start a whole new army, because I don't want to mix in like little green dudes with like new yellow big guys. Like that'll look stupid. So I'll probably just start like a whole new Primaris army. I have all the Shadow Sphere stuff assembled, but I never painted it or primed it. So yeah. So that kind of works out. I don't think Grey Knights are getting any Primaris. I think I reset it in Chapter Tactics that he was gonna burst that bubble. There ain't no Primaris Grey Knights coming, so we'll see. Maybe they'll just get a whole new model line. Who knows? Francois, welcome. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, who knows? Maybe this, like, apparently you can pick, well, we'll talk about it. You can pick, to make your custom chapter, and there's probably some bent combos in there that people are going to figure out. So, anyway, I'm just going to paint them the color I want to paint them, which I think is the yellow, and then whatever chapter I want to play, I can play, and it's super flexible that way. Maybe pick some of the characters. Okay, so before we get really into the stuff that we know so far about Space Marines, I just like shout out everybody on the Twitch tonight. Shout out everybody watching on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your support. Shout out to our patrons. Thank you for your continued support of our channel. And shout out to our big sponsors, Red Dragon, Dan and Dylan at Red Dragon Comics, Games, and Gifts. They are actually open. Not officially grand opening because it's basically just a basement right now, but you can go in there. They're going to be open. There are tables for you to play on. And when that's all up and running, that will be the official home of CanHammer. Our big logo is going to be on the front of the store. And we will be hosting monthly RTTs, like 20, 30 players there. P&P will become, this is the plan, P&P will become a quarterly GT, or major, I guess. And then we have Capital City Bloodbath, of course. So that's the plan. We're going to be holding more tournaments for people to come and play, and we'll be able to have them right in the store because it's a massive space. So stay tuned. Once they get set up, I'm going to be going down there to film and stream some games and show people around, and so it's going to be pretty cool. You will, of course, see Red Dragon at Capital City Bloodbath because they are the main sponsors, and they will be there. Yes, it is in Ottawa. So, speaking of Capital City Bloodbath is 8 days away. As of midnight tonight, it will be 7 days away. So, literally just over a week till Capital City Bloodbath 2019. I personally am super excited. The most excited I've been for a tournament that I'm not playing in. So it's super exciting. It's going to be an amazing event. We got everything that everybody wanted. We have a giant venue. There's going to be loads of space between every table in all dimensions. Every table has a 2-foot area. You can put your board and your army. It's going to be great terrain, better than last year even. And there's going to be plenty of space. There's going to be carpet. As requested, we deliver. There is going to be carpet again like last year, so it's going to be quiet, soft. Your dice aren't going to go all the way across the room if you drop them. You won't feel as fatigued at the end of the day. It's perfect. So it's going to be nice. There's going to be doubles on the Friday, AOS and 40K. We actually have 18 40K doubles teams, and we have 12 AOS doubles teams. So actually a decent number of doubles teams. And also Friday, there's going to be Free Blades. The producers of the game are coming up from Texas or Austin or whatever to actually run the Free Blades event. So it's going to be awesome. And yes, Lord Draconis is our ringer for 40K doubles, and his wife is the ringer for AOS doubles. So that's going to be funny. It's going to be great. And then Saturday or Sunday, of course, are AOS and 40K champs. And currently we are at 116, I think, for 40K and 44 for AOS. So that is pretty good. I'm actually impressed with AOS this year because I did not think we were going to get anywhere near 50. So you surprised me. Great. And 40K is great. I'm thinking we're going to get more than that. We're planning for 130. So we have space. So people, if you're not signed up yet, still not too late to sign up. It's going to be awesome. There will be a bar Friday and Saturday. We're not allowed to run the bar on Sunday. We have great lunches planned for everybody. We've catered to everybody's dietary request if they let us know what it was. If you haven't, you should let us know. So we're going to have bar, everything. Friday and Saturday morning are the drop-offs for the painting competitions. So do drop your stuff off, and Zach will judge it, and we'll announce those on Sunday. What else? Gamer Garage sale. You drop your stuff off Saturday, and you can buy and sell on the Sunday morning. So it's going to be awesome. Tomb King Tristan, welcome. And so it's going to be great. And of course, on Thursday, flying in from across the Atlantic will be Rob and Scrivo from Honest Wargamer, coming over on their big North American adventure that starts at Capital City Bloodbath and ends probably in a dumpster somewhere in the States. I don't know. I don't really think Rob really knows what he's doing after Capital City Bloodbath. Apparently, he's going to go hang out with Val in Toronto on a couch somewhere, and at some point, he's going to Nashville, and at some point, he's got to end up back in Toronto and fly back from Toronto. So I don't know. I'm not responsible for him once he leaves Ottawa, but he will be arriving in Ottawa on the Thursday night. We're going to chill out, have a nice dinner. We're going to set up on the Friday. We're going to try and do a episode of Honest Wargamer from the Capital City Bloodbath venue on the Friday, featuring yours truly, which would be cool. And then there will be full coverage of the 40K Championship on Saturday, Sunday. They will be trying to cover 2 tables. And we've got our full team ready. We've got Rob, we've got Val, and Peter from 40K Stat Center, of course, both fellow Canadians, coming in for the event. And we have table boss, Max. He's going to be our table boss. We're going to have a great coverage. And if you've ever seen their coverage of other events, like Bobo last year is a great example of the things that Rob does with his coverage. It's fantastic coverage. And he has... he's got some big ideas for this. He's been showing me the overlays he's made for the stream. They're looking pretty sick. So it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about that, and it's going to be great. So, yeah, I'm super excited about Capital City Bloodbath. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be competitive, but super friendly. I've had some people email me saying, can they come watch? Yes, you can come watch. You don't have to pay to get in to watch. Come watch. Come hang out. You can go buy and sell stuff at the Gamer Garage Show. You don't have to be registered in the event to do that, but you do have to bring your stuff in, obviously. So, yes, spectators are very welcome. But I do encourage you, if you play and you can get 2,000 points together, it doesn't even have to be painted. Sign up. Come play. You will be, if you're a beginner, by the end of 6 games at Capital City Bloodbath, you'll be an expert. So, come play. There's lots of people who just come to have fun. Come play. You'll have the best time, and you'll want to go to every event you can. So don't be afraid. Just sign up and come play, and it will be amazing. So worst comes to worst, you play Francois in the first round. He's going to kick your butt, but he'll be super nice about it, and then you'll be like, oh, that was great, and then you'll play 5 more great games after that. So don't worry. Just come and play. If you're even semi-interested, if you're interested to come watch, that probably means you should just play. What's better than watching is playing. 40K is kind of boring to watch. So come play. And, of course, BJ and team bringing in the heat for the garage sale. And that's going to be great. I've got some stuff to sell. I traditionally bring a lot of stuff to sell. I don't have as much this year. I think I'm going to sell like Shadow Spear, and I'm going to sell probably some Forge World. Usually it's completely new and unboxed. I'm going to sell this Archon probably. I'm going to sell some Venatari. I'm going to sell some stuff. I usually sell some stuff. So, yeah. What else can I say? Oh, yeah. So, if you are registered for 40K and AOS singles, you must get yourself on BCP. I'll say again, I don't know how many times I've posted this, and I've said it on CanHammer TV here. When you send us your money, that has nothing to do with BCP. I ain't entering all your emails and registering you on BCP. I don't even know what your emails are. When you e-transfer somebody, it doesn't say what your email is. So you need to register yourself on BCP. Go into BCP, the player app, find CCCB. Don't put in a search CCBB. Don't put in dates. Don't put in any filters. For whatever reason, the filters mess up the search. Just search and look a week from now, find the dates, and you'll see it. They're sponsored events, CCBB, 40K Champs, AOS Champs. Register yourself as if you were buying tickets. You won't have to pay anything. You just register yourself, make sure you got the right email, put yourself in, and then upload your list. The list deadline, ideally, is this weekend, Sunday, all right? We'd like to have the list in the week before so we can deal with mess-ups. Also, if we have most of the list in before, Val and Peter can give us some really nice pre-stats, and we can really talk about that next week. So, the list deadline this weekend, register yourself on BCP, get your list in. We've got about 75 people on BCP right now for 40K and about 30 for AOS. So, there's still a bunch of people out there who need to do that. Please do it. Go, go, go. There's no bonus for uploading your list, but I have to think of a penalty for not uploading your list. It's going to be something like 2 points off your first round or something, which could lose you the game. So do it. Okay. So bonuses never work. It's the penalties that motivate. So here we go. So yes, so please do that. Okay, I still people asking me. I don't see myself on BCP. I registered 2 months ago. I haven't put you on BCP. Okay, you got to get yourself on BCP. Next year, I think we're going to use BCP to deal with the money as well. It's just that we have so many different events. It's hard to do some manually and some BCP but I think we might just do it that way easier next week. So so for the garage sale, BJ's answering a question there. So you basically package what you want, tell the garage sale staff how much you want for it and how low you can possibly go, and they'll haggle it for you. That's how it works. So you don't have to worry about it. You just have to fill in a little sheet of paper when you sign your stuff in. If you got a lot of stuff to sell, leave yourself some time to bring it in and sign the little piece of paper. And then don't forget to pick up your money at the end. So, and a little bit of the proceeds goes, we keep a little bit of the proceeds and you get the rest. I think we keep a little bit, let's say 10% or something. So some kind of commission. Space Cloud, yo, welcome. Thank you for joining us. All right, so does anybody have any questions about BCP? Not BCP, CCBB or BCP. If you're having technical problems with BCP, a couple of things. First of all, make sure you're up to date. Okay, they update that like every week. All right, make sure you're up to date. Second of all, log out and log back in. Third of all, if that doesn't work, delete it and reinstall it, re-download and reinstall it. If that doesn't work, then you need to talk to the BCP guys, not me. I'm not BCP tech support. I don't know how to help you unless it's something really simple, okay? A lot of people have double registered, and that's fine. You just let me know which one to delete, and I can delete it for you. It's pretty easy. Space Cloud followed my advice on Phobos Libby. Great. I'm glad that worked out for you. And, you must be excited in Space Cloud because all that marine stuff is coming out. All right, so hobby. Let's talk a little bit about hobby. People let me know what you're up to hobby-wise. Are people doing last-minute hobbying for CCBB? Well, I know there's some of you out there doing that. I, myself, I'm still working through this Orion. I managed to fix the fuck-ups that I made last time just with some layers of null oil and varnish, so that worked out okay. So now I'm back on track. Just got to figure out, I don't know, can you paint primer with a brush? Because, I don't want to have to mask the gold because I think it's going to peel off. So I want to try and paint the black area with primer. Anyway, so we'll see how that works. I'm doing a little experiment now and see if I can mask I think once you wash it, then that makes a layer and then the mask won't take the layer off. But Jeremy Saint, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do you think the Vigil's detachment for Cataphrons is actually worth it? And yes, I can't remember what it is, but apparently there's lots of people playing it. The new Scorpius tank is the Shiz. Should probably get a few of those. It's pretty sweet, non-line of sight needing artillery, basically. It's pretty good, so people should get that. I know everybody whines about the Caladius, but that's a pretty good tank. Hala 15, you gave me some advice on Custodians, and I finally got them all painted. Haven't played them yet, but all done and based. Great! Have fun. Custodians is awesome. Enjoy the Caladius tank while you can. I think we'll be fine, actually, if it gets nerfed. But, check out our channel. We got a lot of Custodians on there. Probably more than anybody else that I can see, anyway. A lot of Custodians online. Jamie Saint, you can paint primer with a brush. Great. Thank you. I'm going to try that. I was going to try it anyway because I messed it up. And Francois, you can paint primer. Okay, everyone's telling me I can paint primer. Go for it. 100%, 110% worth it. Army Painter Primer. Francois might not be as smooth. Yeah. Jason Hutchinson, what are you bringing to CCBB, man? Are you bringing your destruction or are you bringing your Deepkin? Inquiring minds want to know. For those of you who don't know, Jason is one of the talented painters I know. His armies are always beautiful. He's the kind that takes a full year to paint an army, and it always looks great. It's always in the running for best painted, so I'm excited to see what he brings out. I've been watching Mike Story's Battlesworth, and I definitely have the most. I do have a lot of shit, yes. I think when I counted, I have almost 10,000 points of Custodes, which is like, 20 models? But anyway, I have a lot, so. Oh, Jason's bringing back the Iron Jaws. Interesting. Okay. But probably with a lot more hard boys in the list, probably, like 80 of them or something like that. So there you go. All right. Well, we're looking forward to that, Jason. It's going to be beautiful as always. So I think the AOS side, despite only having 44 people, that's actually, like, I'm thinking, 40K is like 120 people. AOS is only 44 people, but 44 people is still a big event. And it's going to be pretty hotly contested. We got Olivier coming back to defend his title from last year. We have up-and-comers like Phil and Barney, usurpers. We've got the Tiré de Deux guys all coming in for Quebec. And we got the Conquest guys all coming in from the west side. So it's going to be fairly hotly contested AOS tournament, that is for sure. Jeremy saying, I'd love your opinion on what can be used to beat my friend's 3 Shadow Sword and lots of guard list. Yes. Well, it depends on what you're playing. Like, you have access to any army? Like, what army are you playing, Jeremy saying? 44 people is massive. Yeah, I guess Rob was saying it's a pretty big tournament, but yeah. So Phil is taking it kind of seriously. So we tune in tomorrow night. Me and Phil are playing our makeup game from Monday's canceled game. He's bringing his Gits, and I'm bringing Night Haunt. That's going to be fun. I think I'm going to get wrecked. But anyway. Mech. So the Shadow Sword is going to take out your vehicles. So, you just got to be careful with your Dune Crawlers. Remember your Dune Crawlers. Oh, hopefully you're playing on a terrain that has some line of sight blocking terrain. Dune Crawlers are not that hard to hide. And remember, your Dune Crawlers can move, and I think they can shoot without penalty. So you just need, and the neutron laser is going to do some damage. And then I think you just use your Rust Stalkers and those infiltrator dudes to like take care of their guardsmen, because without the guardsmen they don't score much. So even if they take out 1 or 2 tanks a turn, you don't score much. You should focus on ground control. If we're talking ITC now, focus on ground control type secondaries. If you listen to the most recent Chapter Tactics episode, it just came out this week, I believe. He's got Brandon Grant and Reese on there, and they actually talk about how to beat the Triple Knight list. And basically, beating the Triple Knight list is like beating Triple Shadow Sword list. So if you listen to that episode, Brandon Grant lays it well out how you can actually use AdMech to beat like Triple Knights. So you should definitely listen to that episode of Chapter Tactics. You should listen to all episodes of Chapter Tactics. It's a great podcast, and 40K Stat Center's on there, but definitely that's one that's very appropriate. People always worry about killing the big things. You don't need to kill the big things to win. That's just the way the ITC is. You just... if you decide that you're not going to be able to kill more than he is every turn, then don't try and just focus more on holding more. Yeah, I would avoid the chickens. They're not very good. Dakabots for sure. And Dune Crawlers with the neutron lasers are pretty strong. Those new Scorpius tanks will take out all the guardsmen. Breachers, big unit of breachers, so good. And Call, you got to have Call now because he's making your shooting so efficient. And yeah, so I think I think those are the things you can do. I think it's slightly different, but I think the principles are the same. How do you beat a list with 3 big shooty things? In fact, I think Knight is probably a little bit more flexible because the Knights can also melee you, whereas you generally don't want to be charging you with your Shadow Sword, although you can with that stratagem. But that doesn't do as much damage as Knight does in combat. So I think the Triple Knight is probably a little bit better than Triple Shadow Sword. But and the Shadow Swords really suffer with any kind of negative to hit. So if you're rocking, yeah. So remember they're only hitting. They're not hitting that well. So Okay, so let's move on to some Space Marines. Space Marines. Okay, so who's excited about Space Marines? Raise your hand. Space Marines have not been good since 8th edition came out. So I really started playing Space Marines in 7th at the time of the whatever that Strike Force was called, Lion's Blade Strike Force for Dark Angels, or the Space Marine equivalent one where you got all the free rhinos and drop pods. I really wish that they were coming out with a Primaris drop pod. Maybe they are and they just haven't leaked it yet. One can hold hope. But it would be really cool if they came out with drop pod. But I'm pretty excited about this little hover rhino. I think so this thing is probably going to be T7, not T8. It's going to have a 4-up invuln, which is gross. It's probably going to at least 10 wounds, carry 6 dudes, so like 5 Primaris and a character, and it flies. So, and it probably going to have the -2 to charge repulsor rule. So there's your screen. There's an annoying little wave serpent-like vehicle you can rock around that is fairly hard to kill with a 4-up invuln. That's going to just charge into things and tie them up, eat Overwatch, do all sorts of obnoxious things. So I think, personally, I haven't seen any of the stuff yet. I think something like a Lion's Blade with a bunch of Primaris Marines inside with this crazy bolters and shit is going to be the shiz. Multiple vehicles, running around, getting objectives, holding board space, tying things up, making things have to fall back, eating Overwatch. Oh, it's going to be annoying to play. So I think that's where it's at, personally. Invulnerable save is an upgrade. Sure, it's probably worth it, especially if you're going heavy. You're short on running a list with 2 repulsors and 2 3-man aggressor squads and Red Blood Angels. Yeah, so I think it's going to be great. Let's just go through some of the leaks and let's talk about it. So I've got them here pulled up in front of me. So the chapter tactics have all been improved. Some of them before were just really crappy, like the Imperial Fist one, but now they all have got 1 or 2 parts. Kind of like all the other books, all the traits and stuff always have like 2 or 3 parts to it. So Marines are getting the same treatment. And good Space Marines is good for the game. I'm going to put it right out there. Without Space Marines, the game has been lacking. Good Space Marines is good for the game. Just like good Chaos is good for the game, and Chaos are good. Good Space Marines is good. So here we got Crimson Fists. 5 or more model unit, add 1 to the hit roll. That's amazing. So that means Space Marines hitting on 2s. So as a Custodes player, hitting on 3 is for scrubs. Okay, like after you've been rolling 2-ups, re-rolling 1s for as long as I have, when you have to hit on a 3-up, that really sucks. So going down to a 2-up again will feel so good for you power armor guys. But man, hitting on 2s is the bomb. Hitting on 3s really does suck. So, and a vehicle model with this tactic. So by this implication, and they have already said, I think everything in the book is going to get chapter tactics, like every other book since the Space Marine Codex. So not just infantry and dreads anymore. I think everything's going to get it. So now you're going to get vehicles automatically hitting on 2s. It's going to be nice. And an unmodified hit roll of 6 is an additional hit. It's going to be sweet. So you run like a 6-man aggressor unit. Those guys are hitting on 2s. And then with other stuff in the future, you see, and then they're shooting a bajillion shots. Every hit of the 6 is an additional hit. It's going to be amazing. So that's pretty sick. All right, so let's see. Then we have the new Stalker Bolt Rifle, which is the 36-inch range heavy version of the bolter. But it's AP -2 damage. As a Custodes player, that makes me cry. The strength 4 hurts you a little bit, but -2 damage puts me straight on invuln and 2 damage. Oh, that makes me hurt. But it is heavy, so moving does make you hit on 3s. So, but then you go back to hit on 4s and then go back to 3s if you have that So like there could be playing and having a unit of 10 of these guys just sitting on top of a building somewhere, pumping out strength 4 AP -2 2 damage shots. That is actually a Marine killer, a Primaris Marine killer. That is what you use to kill other Marine armies. Boom, 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 boom. There goes your unit of 5 Primaris Marines. All right. Black Templars. So previously Black Templars were pointless. You would only see them splashed for the 4-up deny stratagem. Now they got a bit of orkiness in them. So they can reroll any of the dice on a charge roll. And they have a 5-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds, which can be useful, especially because if Marines are becoming more elite, right? Especially if you're playing all Primaris. Now, the only problem I have with this is, what do you really want to charge in as a Marine player? Smash Captains, maybe some Death, like Blood Angel Scouts, but that's not really Marines. Let's stick to like the core Marines. What? Assault Marines? Aggressors have Power Fists, but they're much better shooting because they hit on 4s with Power Fists. So it's like, what do you really want to be charging at all, So it's like, but now there might be stuff you want to be charging because everybody gets +1 attack. So, even Assault Marines are rocking like 3 attacks each. There's probably something in there that makes them a little bit better. I think that's definitely something worth considering, especially if they're getting +1 AP too. So they're like strength 4 -1 damage with like 40 attacks coming at you, even just from like the humble Assault Marine. And now you get to reroll any of the dice, which I believe, according to Orcs, makes that like a 70-something% 8-inch charge. So 9-inch charge maybe a bit worse. So that's pretty good. So we have to see how that goes. Okay. Imperial Fist. So Imperial Fist before was just like you do extra damage against buildings or something and like remove cover. Now, when you resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon, the target does not receive cover. So again, getting rid of cover, and unmodified 6 scores an additional hit. So that's fine. Like the Crimson Fists gave you that already. And the removed cover is not a big deal, to be perfectly honest. Not like it was in 7th. So I don't really like the Imperial Fist one as much. The Crimson Fist is better. But we'll see. Because each one of these guys apparently get their own supplement too. And apparently, according to today's, and we'll come to that, but they get more stratagems in their own supplement, which is crazy. Ultramarines. So Ultramarines used to be you just fall back and you can shoot. So now with a -1, I think it was with a -1 hit before, and now they get extra leadership, and they can fall back and shoot with a -1 hit. My question is, so if you're something with fly, you can already fall back and shoot and not take -1 to hit. So if you're an Ultramarines jump pack guy, do you get -1 to hit where you didn't have it before? Huh? There you go. So yeah, I think Ultramarines hasn't changed. I think the leadership thing is new. I don't know, but otherwise it's pretty similar. There is rumor that G-Man's going to be changing. We will see. We'll see what happens to G-Man. There's a rumor he's going to change into something like Call, where you can reroll all hits, not just failed hit rolls. So that would make his aura even beefier. So that will be interesting to see. There's also rumors that the next Primarchs are Dorn and the Hands guy. Can't remember his name. Which would be okay. I'd rather the Lion, but anyway. Okay, White Scars. So this is the other army I thought about painting, but I'm really nervous about painting a whole army white. But yeah, so White Scars, basically they can charge after advancing or falling back. So that's basically, I think, the same as before. And biker models don't suffer penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons or advancing and firing assault weapons. So I think that's pretty much unchanged. White Scar armies do look really cool if you can do it well. Raven Guard changed, so Raven Guard just used to be -1 to hit outside of 12 inches. Now they still have that. They don't have that completely anymore. So what happens is if you're outside of 12, they get cover, and if it's not a vehicle and you're in terrain, then you get your -1 to hit. So that actually got nerfed a little bit, but that does make your guys survivable too. the rumor is that more and more people are going to give reroll hit auras, not reroll failed hit auras, in which case then -1 to hit becomes less of a hindrance, and so maybe giving cover is better. I don't know. And salamanders. So salamanders used to be just the annoying like one reroll every phase basically. So now they can still do that, and they specifically stay Overwatch as well. So reroll a single hit or wound roll, and when you resolve an attack, AP -1, that weapon is treated as AP -0 against them. So that's pretty cool, because AP -1 weapons are perfect for killing Marines, and so now they're just AP 0. So that's pretty sweet. Okay, Iron Hands. Oh, that's it. The hands guys. Iron Hands. I always confuse the Iron Hands and the Iron Warriors. I know, that might be blasphemous to some people, but they could have come up with some better names. That's a bit different. Anyway, Iron Hands is they get 6 up Funeral Pain, and they Overwatch on a 5-up, so they get some Tau action there, which is pretty sweet, as you'll see some of those guns. But if you're eating, 20 bolter shots at -2 damage like that, that's going to get pretty nasty. Or aggressors. Oh, you don't want to charge aggressors anymore then. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And then vehicles basically, or dreadnoughts, are double their wounds in terms of their damage table, so they can stay functional for much longer. So that's pretty good. I like that. I like these 3 things: a 6-up Funeral Pain, Overwatching on a 5-up, and having the damage table. Basically, that's pretty good. The landmines, I don't think, are getting minis. Some of the minis are holding mines. They showed one that will come to that, but I think you'll just get a little like cardboard marker or something. You could always make a mini though, of course, as long as it's we'll have to read the rules to see whether you're supposed to actually place a marker or a mini on the table, because that'll be important. Okay, so that's the chapter tactics. That's pretty exciting. Let's move forward. New units. Okay, so the Incursor Squad, which is kind of like the... it's becoming like Stormcast Eternals. Is it a defecator? Is it a urinator? Is it a molestator? Is it like... It becomes really confusing to work out what all the different units are. But these guys are kind of like infiltrator alternatives. They have like this little like GoPro camera on their backpack and like these cool little masks. And you actually build them from the infiltrator kit, apparently. And they have these kind of occult Oculus bolt carbines, which ignore cover, apparently, and ignore negative modifiers when using ranged weapons. So, that's pretty good. And if you want a unit, yeah. And then they have these combat blades, which give them an extra attack. So that's pretty cool. Smoke grenades, and then they can plant this haywire mine. And so there's this cool model of this dude holding a mine that really looks like the Forge World Elysians, and some of the Elysians are holding mines. It kind of looks like that. I think there were some guardsman models like that. Otherwise, it's got like the infiltrator chest. And basically, once you prime this, the first enemy unit to move within 3 inches of it risks suffering D3 mortal wounds. Risks suffering. So I guess it's not automatic. Or D3 plus 1 if it's a vehicle. And then you remove the mine. So you can lay enough haywire mines to make it suicidal to approach. We'll see. If it's not automatic, then that's not as good. Maybe you lay down a dud mine. So it would be cool to see what that is. Okay, here's what I'm saying about the Impulsor. Okay. So this is basically a Rhino on top of a repulsor bottom, like with all the little hover things. And then it's got like little like vents sticking out the side. But it otherwise kind of looks like a Rhino. And it looks like, so it's going to be a transport. Hopefully it will be a dedicated transport slot. Because if it's a heavy or a fast or something, that's going to be a real problem for my plans. But if it's dedicated transport, that's fine. It's probably going to be 150 points, I think. Because if it's fly, it has a -2 to charge, and it can transport 6 Primaris. And if you add in the invuln, I think it'll probably be about 150 points. The Rhino is still like whatever, 90 points or whatever. So it can carry 6 models, so that's 5 dudes and a character. And it has this assault vehicle rule, which means you can move it and not advance and then disembark, which is awesome. But if you disembark like that, you can't charge, which is too bad, but that is still great. That makes it so good to be able to get out after moving, like so good. It just improves your troop mobility that much, like an extra 12 inches or whatever. This thing's probably going to move at least 12, maybe 14 inches. So it's going to be pretty good. Then it can have some guns, which, to be honest, depending on how you're using them, you might go for guns or you might go for this 4-up invuln. But it's got some firepower there. We don't know what that's like, but it's probably going to be okay. It's not going to be like a repulsor, obviously, but... And then you can put this comms array there, which is this like orbital bombardment, basically. So I wouldn't buy that. So that's going to be pretty sweet. Then we've got the next Baby Bjorn, which is basically a Redemptor with a cage on the front of it and some different legs. But this Invictor tactical war suit, which has like a Baby Bjorn for a Marine. It's pretty cool. It's got like a bolter on its hip, and it can like hold a bolter in its hands. And this apparently is going to be like a fast attack dreadnought, probably, which is pretty cool. And I think it sounds like they can infiltrate, so that's going to be really interesting. We'll have to see the rules and how much this thing costs and what weapons it can take, because that has some serious potential. But this looks like a serious wrap target, and if it's armed mostly just with guns, probably it's not great in combat. So like with anything that can infiltrate, you got to be careful about getting wrapped. So anyway, it has an Incendium cannon, which is 12 inches, a heavy 2d6 heavy flamer, basically. So 12-inch heavy flamer, and then it has the auto cannon, which is a heavy 6, 7 -1, 2, so a 6-shot auto cannon. So that's pretty sweet. So we'll see. It might be something you infiltrate into the bottom of ruins and just use to hold some space. See how many points they are. And then its heavy bolter, apparently it can fire as a pistol 3, so that's pretty cool too. So we got all these little flies around. Okay. Infiltrators. So instead of doing this Helix Adept, apparently you can use this comms array, which basically, if you have a full bus captain or lieutenant on the battlefield, they always count as being in range of their auras. So it's pretty cool. Eliminator Squad are the sniper dudes, which I think are really limited by their numbers. I think you can only have 6 in a unit or something like that. But anyway, so all their sniper guns are now strength 5, which makes them so much better for the things that you want to shoot, which are T4 and T3, sometimes T5 toughness characters. So that is great. And then if you want them to kill shit now they can get the Las Fusil, which is a 36-inch range, so not that far, and heavy, strength 8, -3, 3 damage. Wow. That's night killing there, man. That is, strength 8 is not super great for killing knights, but that's better than strength 7. -3, 3 damage. Straight 3. Oh, Custodes would kill for some straight 3. We'd kill for a straight 2. So, man, that's pretty good. And then the Eliminator Sergeant has a guided aim ability, which allows to add 1 to hit and wound rolls. Oh, well, there you go. Okay, and then this ability. Okay, so the Sergeant has this covering fire The first time this unit's Eliminator Sergeant fires Overwatch with an instant in your opponent's turn, this unit can, after it has Overwatched, move as if it were the movement phase. What? What? That's like skinks on steroids. So basically you can't charge these guys because there's almost no reason why they would not just move back so you can't charge them anymore. Like, because they can move 6. I mean, at the minimum, you make that a 7-inch charge if that person was 1 inch away from you. And obviously, they have to be able to move somewhere. So that is really, really good. And that's not a stratagem. That's just an ability. That is really good. Really good. I like that a lot. And then they just confirmed here that Blood Angels, Space Wolves, and Dark Angels will have access to all these new units and these data sheets, as well as the +1 attack shock assault ability and that. But we're not going to get access to stratagems and all that sort of stuff. So these books are still remaining separate. It's just they're going to give us these new units to use as stock units. So that's what's expected. I assume at some point these other codexes either will get a supplement or get another book. They'll probably get a supplement, but yeah. So that's pretty much expected. All right. Okay, and then that's not it. Combat Doctrines. So I think, was this in 7th that they had Doctrines? Who had, I can't remember now. One of the armies had Doctrines. You got to choose your doctrine. Was it like Imperial Fist or something? A Tactical Doctrine, Devastator Doctrine, Assault Doctrine, or whatever, and you can change it. Anyway, so now they have those back. Basically, you start the game in what's called the Devastator Doctrine, and then after the first turn, you can change it at the beginning of your turn to Tactical Doctrine, and then later you can change it to Assault Doctrine. And basically, Devastator Doctrine gives all your heavy and grenade weapons extra AP, which is amazing. So now that gun becomes -4. That's crazy. Stalker Bolt rifles become -3. Oh, that's crazy. And then the Tactical Doctrine turns all your rapid fire and assault weapons, all your bolters and shit, now get AP -1. What? So this is where your aggressors go from hitting on 3s to hitting on 2s as Crimson Fists, rerolling 1s with a nearby character, shooting, can advance and still shoot, or there's something we're going to come to that lets them move and act like they never moved. So double shooting, and then strength, a bajillion shots, strength 4, -1. That's like that's fucking crazy. 6 guys. I'm glad I have 18 aggressors, but I might have to repaint some of them so I don't have to make new ones. Yeah. That's pretty gross. That is pretty gross. And Assault Doctrine, pistol and melee weapons, AP -1. So that's still good too. So let's say you have 10 lowly Assault Marines. Now they're on the charge. They're all rocking like 3 or 4 attacks. There's probably something in there that gives them extra attacks. Fight again, stratagems. Now you've got 30 attacks coming in at you. Strength 4. -1. Even the simple chainsword is going to wreck some shit. So even the Assault Marine has a roll. So that is pretty good. And of course, there's new Khan and Tigris models, which are pretty sweet. So there we go. Woohoo! But wait, there's more. Okay, and then so now they're previewing some of the stuff in the supplements, I think. So now we got the Ultramarines today, and so they have this other doctrine, combat doctrine, that when they have Tactical Doctrine active, they get this extra thing, which says models with this ability that moved in your movement phase but did not advance or fall back can make attacks with ranged weapons in the following shooting phase as if their unit had remained stationary. So there's your double shooting aggressors even after moving their move. Now, of course, then their Ultramarines, and they don't get to hit on 2s like the Crimson Fist, so one's going to have to make a decision about which one they like there. You can't have everything, but still, that's pretty good to be able to move them and still double shoot, because aggressors are not very mobile, and not being able to double shoot is a big deal, so that's pretty good. So apparently in the Codex supplement, you're going to get your own Warlord traits and your own psychic powers. And another set of stratagems. So apparently they're going to get access to something like 40 different stratagems between the 2 books, which is crazy. So they leaked out one of these psychic powers, telepathic assault, warp charge of 7, enemy unit within 24 inches and visible, so targeted power, 2d6 against their leadership plus 2, and an immortal wound for every difference. That's pretty good. I like that. It's probably not going to end up being that much more than like a good smite, but still it's targeted, which is a key. No more does only Chaos have this ability. And then, of course, there's relics and stuff like that. This new Sanctic Halo is pretty good. It's basically a 3-up invuln and turns you into a Psyker for denial, which is pretty good. And this Plasma Pistol, which is basically always overcharged, but doesn't kill you. That's pretty good. Okay, so a new stratagem, another 16 stratagems, and once per battle, so 2 CP. Okay, so when the tactical doctrine is active until the start of the next battle round, when resolving an attack with a rapid fire or assault weapons, on a modified wound roll of 6, the AP is improved by 1. Okay, that's okay. I mean, that's not crazy. 2 CP, that's not too crazy. There's more, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to get more sheets for Captain Sicarius and Honor Guard, and a new updated sheet for G-Man. So we'll see. Funnily enough, in this picture right under there, they have a drop pod. But it's a normal-looking drop pod. So anyway, I don't think there's much to read into that. Tyrannic Veterans, Chaplain Cassius, all that stuff. And then, yeah, Tiggy. His stats are pretty much unchanged. 5 wounds, 3-up save, 3s and 3s. Yep, so he's pretty much unchanged. A nice new model, and his hood, of course, gives him +1 to deny, and he can reroll his psychic test. I think he had all that before, and he can select at the start of the battle round, select a friendly Ultramarines unit within 6 inches, and they are -1 to hit, so that's okay. And that is it. And then they say bye G-Man and bye Tigurius and Calgar. All right. Yeah, +1 to cast and deny. All right. There you go. And so I think that's it. So who here has ordered the crazy special edition? So the Indomitus edition with the poster and the little tokens and the cards and the little letter from Gulliman. It's pretty cool. I didn't order that, but yeah, it's pretty cool. White Scars and Ultramarines. So there are going to be 6, I think 6 or 7 supplements. So I'm assuming that they're going to be the 6 main chapters that are in the book, obviously. So it's going to be Ultramarines, the hand guys, White Scars, those salamanders, those guys. So if it's just 6, then nobody else is getting anything. The question is, so Grey Knights are not getting anything, but Death Watch. So Death Watch, we'll get some of the new units. Then the question is, how much will Death Watch, make use of these new units? And I guess the Death Watch people out there are probably pretty excited as well. Sounds like if the Humble Scout is in there, then they can get Scouts at least. I think if anything from the small Marines still makes it in, it's only going to be Scouts. And even then, I mean, there's still a compelling reason to run Scouts because they're so cheap. And the whatever Infiltrators or Exfiltrators or the Executors or whatever those guys are, they're not as cheap, right? I think they're like 100 points or something. I haven't looked at the full guys in a while, but we'll see. I mean, the points can change with this new book, right? So who knows? G-Man maybe he's going to go up or down, or something's going to happen. People have been theory crafting lists already with aggressors and stuff, like myself, but that is assuming that they are the same points costs. They may not be. People are assuming that Marines are getting all of these cool things but staying the same points. That's not a good assumption. So Andrew Atkins, welcome. So, people are making big assumptions here that everything is going to stay the same price in terms of points cost. So that's not necessarily a good assumption. So people should just wait. Wait for the book. It's out next week. Don't go do anything crazy. People are already upset apparently at GW because they went out and bought a bunch of models and started painting them already, and then like the leaks are like not what they expect. I'm like, dude, it hasn't even come out yet. Just hold your horses, man. It's like, people are crazy. Don't get mad at the company. It's your stupidity. Anyway, so that's definitely something to watch out for. They can change the points. There's going to be pages at the back of points. Oh man, you just never know. Like, you're getting a lot of new shit. I wouldn't just assume your points are going down as well, because then that's like a triple buff. So, yeah. I mean, if you just added this stuff onto current Marines, they would be super good. So it may not just be like that, though, right? Like, that's just an assumption. And you know what happens when you make an assumption. So, yeah. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, super excited. If this is good, I'm definitely going to start a new Marine army. I also want to do Sylvaneth, though, so we'll see. But I definitely want to start a new Marine army if this book is good. And I'm probably going to do yellow. I'm going to try the new contrast paint. Try some kind of zenithal highlighting on the power armor. That looks pretty good. So definitely exciting. Okay, so any questions in the chat? That's about all I had to talk about. Questions in the chat. Questions, things about Capital City Bloodbath. Anybody have questions about that? People need advice about life, work, gaming, that sort of thing. I hope to see many of you guys next weekend. So next week is an abbreviated week because basically I'll be busy from Thursday onwards. I do aim to have either one more game or let me see, just checking my schedule here. One more game. I can probably squeeze in a game or a CanHammer TV Monday or Tuesday. I've got something already on Wednesday, so we'll see. It might just be a rest week while we get ready for Capital City Bloodbath. If anybody's around in the Ottawa area on the Thursday and they don't mind coming helping us set up, probably around lunchtime we'll be getting going. You are welcome to come down and give us a hand. Last year we had to move 100 tables from one end of the convention center all the way to the other end. That was difficult. Hopefully this year it'll be in the right area. But so if anybody's in the area and not doing anything, then come help us out and I'll buy you guys lunch. So Lord Draconis, yeah, like don't come here specially just to help us set up, because we do have people. But if you're in the area and not doing anything, then come say hi and come do some manual labor. So Bobby Halls, welcome. So I'm super looking forward to it. It's going to be amazing. And I hope I see most of you guys, if you can make it out there. Andrew, I just, helped your wife with a big project, so you can buy me lunch. How about that? Okay, so I think that's about it. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Please subscribe to the channel on Twitch and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Consider becoming a patron. It's just $5 a month. Helps us do things like run the channel and run great events. There's lots of swag. We got shirts. We got objective markers, things like that. And there will be swag at Capital City Bloodbath. And do continue to register Capital City Bloodbath. There's still time. Keep registering. Let's push our numbers up. It's going to be awesome. And other than that, I wish everybody a good night and see you next time.